So this is planned really as kind of a continuation of a conversation we started at our last meeting, which was, I guess, 2 weeks ago now, where we had realized the first real focus of the work ended up being really on getting some beef supply chain going, especially around kind of some of the grinds and some of those kind of larger products. And we wanted to make sure that we brought back in smaller livestock into the conversation and started helping make connections and see what kind of interest and need and availability there was in this space. And so a couple of weeks ago, we had a conversation, and I think we had a really good conversation. And actually, Rob was on that call and was starting to share there are some new connections where there is availability for people to process the smaller livestock, and by that I mean sheep, goats, hogs, that people didn't know about. There's some of the valley facilities closed down. The Bell Campbell facility up there had closed down last year and was no longer taking anything other than beef, although that's reopening, and now we'll be taking hogs. We'll be talking with Christine the Star Walker in a couple of weeks about that facility. So for anyone growing hogs, that availability will be there again as well. So anyway, we just wanted to kind of pick up on that piece of the conversation we started, see if we can help it continue and help more people come into the conversation, and see who is interested in regenerative lamb, pork, and goat meat, and help people connect with the resources they need to be able to slaughter and get it to their markets. So that's where we were coming into this. And I see some new faces on the call this time too, which is great. Also see, again, Rob was here, and the Lockwoods are here again. So that's great. I think there were some good connections there last time. So just open it up to what people are thinking now, really.
I had a question in regards, I heard just this about a week ago that Redwood Meats in Eureka was closing. Now that's the only thing I heard, and that's from a local farmer. But my understanding was that they just received a grant to expand their cut and wrap, I believe. And so was that, does anyone know if that closing is in relation to that expansion, or is that just a false rumor? I haven't looked it up online. That would probably be the easiest thing to do. I just thought I'd ask.
I have a feeling that's a false rumor, because we've been talking with them over the course of this project, and they've been having a lot of ups and downs. But we talked to them 6 weeks ago, and they told us everything is going forward, and they did get this new grant. So hopefully they've got it put together. But I know that they've had their ups and downs over the last year. So
Rob and I have had
James, you kind of went silent.
Oh, sorry. Rob and I have had half a dozen producers reach out to us asking for processing services because they no longer have access to Redwood Meats. And from what we've heard, I forget the guy's name, something Christie, purchased Redwood Meat Company.
Huh, that's new.
Yeah, that is new.
So we'll find out. We'll make calls tomorrow and maybe get back to people with an email what we learn. That's interesting.
That's very interesting, because I did just call them not that long ago and spoke in person. I guess maybe it was still up in the air. So
well, I've seen over the last few months is a very volatile situation though across the state. So it's hard to know what's happening.
Yeah, and that information I think was shared with the farmers. It came from Ruthie King from the School of Adaptive Agriculture. She has Headwater Grazing up here near Willits. So I believe that's where that information came from.
Good.
Okay.
Well, so Rob and James, you guys are offering services. Have you, in the aftermath of the last conversation, have you talked to any more people? Anybody been in touch with you?
From which last conversation?
2 weeks ago. Rob was on the call.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't there. Just from the redwood stuff going on, we've had a lot of people call.
And so are you booking times? You're taking people right now?
Yeah, our volumes increased quite a bit.
And you have more capacity?
We do, yes.
Okay, good. And are you doing all species, or are you doing just lambs, goats, and hogs?
Beef as well. No poultry.
No poultry. Okay, good. Um, so I'm just curious with the Lockwoods, where are you in your production cycle?
Well, we have been bringing whole animals to auction over the past couple of weeks, and we are continuing to do that right now. Just basically thinning our herd and doing some genetic selectivity in terms of our meat, and we also are in the process of upping our grazing business as well. So we're kind of thinning the herd a bit. We have over 200 goats, and so and most of those are in the breeding doe age. But yeah, we've brought a number of animals to market over the past couple of weeks and plan to bring some more this week as well.
We have lots of goats available beyond does. We have all of our kids that were born. We have some that were born in the fall, some that were born in January. We have a bunch about to be born. So we'll have a lot of goats for sale, and we're just figuring out right now the best way to market them.
Yeah.
Or, if there's interested buyers, then we would take them to slaughter. We're just trying to figure out the best way to proceed.
We probably have on the order of 30 wethers, a number of bucks, and a number of young does, and some nannies that we're looking to sell in some venue. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Do you have an online market or a direct market built, or is that something you're thinking about?
Not yet.
That's
Yeah,
something we're thinking about,
definitely.
but because when we looked into slaughter and there was nothing close by, we didn't pursue that. We do have friends that do beef that way, and we were gonna maybe share their market to start out, but we didn't do anything because there was nowhere to get USDA slaughtering done anywhere close
near
to
us. Yeah. All the ones I'd originally called like a year plus out, and then, they were had minimums, etc., like we talked about on the last meeting. And it was just, we haven't gotten back in touch with Rob and James to figure out if that's a venue we can take and make it work in terms of, selling, retail cuts, that sort of thing. It's something we're interested in, but we got to make it work economics wise.
Tanaka's asking where you are, I think.
We're in San Andreas.
Yeah, just outside of San Andreas, which is between Jackson and Angels Camp, for anybody that knows. We're literally a mile off of Highway 49, and we're on Highway 12, very near that intersection. As a matter of fact, our land pretty much butts up on the intersection of 12 and 49.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So
if you look up Niewood Ranch, Neuwood Ranch on Google Maps, you'll find us.
Say that again. NA what?
Neuwood Ranch.
Okay.
That's our ranch.
Okay. Neuwood.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So and that are Rob and James within striking distance for you in terms of geography?
That's kind of what we're trying to figure out. I don't remember what their
looks like it's like
just trying to look
2.5 hours, 2.5 hours to 3 hours.
Yeah. So it's not easy, but it's doable. It would be nice if there was something closer for us. If we had a market where we could bring, say, those guys, 15 animals, 20 animals at a shot, and be able to turn that around and have a direct to consumer market that was, you know, available, or even a retailer that would want to carry regenerative pasture raised. You know, we're very much I would say we tick most of the boxes when it comes to regenerative raising and grazing. We're all about it. So whatever box we don't have ticked, I'm sure it's a pretty close stretch for us.
Okay. Any questions or thoughts for the Lockwoods? Okay, good. My thought,
Anything we can do to facilitate conversations with Rob and his team, or what's the next step?
I think that, and also basically the consumer dialogue, right? The retail dialogue of either is there market out there that we can supply? What would their needs be? For example, are there halal markets? Are there, you know, groups that are interested in, you know, perhaps not whole animal, but if we housed, you know, an amount of product that we could sell direct to consumer. That's kind of the tricky part for us, trying to figure out what that's going to be, and is there enough margin in it to make it worth not just selling whole animal at auction.
Mhm.
Okay.
Have you thought,
This is Sam from Sweetwater.
Yeah.
To the Lockwoods. Hey guys, I'm over in Tuolumne County, and I know that obviously I do pigs,
Yeah.
but a lot of the stuff you're concerned with, because we're
Yeah.
so close to you, we have a lot of answers to those kinds of questions. I don't know if you guys have a pen and paper, but if you want to get on our website and shoot me an email through the customer thing, we can get in touch and we could probably help you guys at least draw up a rough plan.
Yeah.
Because what restaurants are interested, what stores are interested that are
Exactly.
within 30, 40 miles.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Thanks, Sam. That's great.
Yeah.
I was gonna, so all of you, one thought, it might be interesting to try to pull some chefs together for a Zoom to talk about goat meat. You don't see it. I mean, I used to be very involved in something called the slow food movement, and we used to every year have this big goat roast event where we used a pizza oven and roasted goat, and it was always delicious. And it was a great, really popular event. And so I'm just thinking, you know, are there people we could talk to who may not be using it now, but could figure out ways to do events around goat, because it's a very tasty meat, and it might be really interesting to try to pull together some chefs to do that. So maybe our team could look to see if we could get some chefs together to talk about that.
Yeah, that would
Kind
be
of related. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say yes, that would be fun.
We'd be interested.
Great.
Well, I think you could even spin the market a little bit because you also are grazing, right? So you're doing kind of the fire control, and kind of these pieces all go together, and it's, you know, it's an attractive theme for people.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask Marilyn, since she's on the call, you know, we've talked to you about beef so far. Are there other meats that you see as interested in, or is it really focused on beef at this point?
At this point, we're really focused on beef. We're still doing our cost analysis, and I finally got someone to help assist with that analysis. But, you know, once we find out where we're at with the, you know, the beef products, then we're going to immediately go into the other protein items to see what we could do. So once we gather this information, then we'll be able to move much faster than we have. So it's promising.
That's
Great.
great. I'm also interested because I know some of the campuses focus on kind of halal product and some don't. And just if you've able to kind of break that out and factor that in as part of this analysis.
Yeah. We do buy halal product, you know, right now from a couple of vendors, but you know, I would call them their direct manufacturers, right? they're not from the farmers. What we're looking at is to be able to, buy either direct from you guys or help you find assistance with, a distributor so it could come into our campus, much more effectively. Because we have a lot of rules and regulations coming into the campus, and we're kind of stuck on, having lots of trucks come in. So part of our goal is not just to do work with you guys and bring regenerative product in, but it's also to help streamline that process, help you guys, and it helps us bring product in.
Makes sense. Ahmed, I'm interested in what you know about markets for halal meats or goats in particular, or sheep. Or maybe you can't talk because you're in another meeting.
Pardon me. No, I had to get away.
Okay.
So just that there is a great opportunity in terms of, I think, maybe solidifying is a word that's coming to mind. And when we Zoom look through, I don't know if Khaled's on the call. Khaled will really be the best source. But since I'm in conversation with him, some things that I can just recall is just in terms of aggregating from the producer perspective in terms of useful supports, market supports, because there's especially in the Central Valley, and it could go beyond that too, but there's just a large Muslim population in the Central Valley too. So just even thinking about that with regional and other like person-centered, hyper-local types of opportunities. Another thing in terms of the customer, variations and options in terms of cut. And then also looking at ways to have animals on some sort of community food opportunity. For example, maybe there's a lamb that's good quality, not super excellent, but we can utilize it for some sort of community benefit. Typically, one of the things that came up now in with this is like the Eid celebrations that come up can be expensive for different communities, but it could also be something that maybe producers, again, not excellent quality, you allow your product to go to that end use. So just thinking creatively too about the types of customers that we're dealing with and the types of requests and gaps in terms of customer and producer, where we can shore up those gaps is kind of what we've talked about. And I'm definitely interested to hear if other people have specific insight, especially from the customer and producer perspective, because we're trying to think around both.
I have a follow-up question for you, Ahmed, about the Muslim market in the Central Valley. Are there grocery retailers that are specifically serving those communities, a chain of them or a few of them that we could identify and maybe contact?
There probably are, and that's one of the spaces where it would be great. Maybe it's something we can think about in terms of that customer assessment type of work that needs to be done, customer engagement. There are definitely like local supermarkets that tend to be ethnic centered or ethnic focused. I went to New York and you see it a lot there. Also in cities like San Francisco with, little, even here in Stockton, Little Manila. So there are those, and opportunity there again is, collect those, name, address, phone number, and types of things to create a pipeline pathway type of project, groundwork, foundation. Hopefully that staccato thinking pattern makes sense.
Yeah. I was just thinking that it would be interesting to just see if there is maybe one family or one group that has a series of stores that we could line up. And I guess we could go online.
Definitely make the inquiry.
Yeah, we could maybe go online and look, or maybe work with maybe some of the imams or something down there in that area that would know.
Yep.
And
Khaled's very much in that space too. He's very active in the practicing faith community, which is where you see a lot of that intersection. And also, what was interesting and encouraging to me is the relationship between kosher products too, and even that learning opportunities to interface, exchange.
Mhm.
So
Steve
really
Schwartz,
wonderful opportunity.
Steve Schwartz, then that's good. Okay. Well, thanks.
Sure.
Just an aside, I remember when we were starting this project kind of in the COVID phase a couple of years ago, and we were doing kind of a detailed analysis of which processors and slaughterhouses were around. I remember that there were several up and down the Central Valley that specifically served the halal community, and I think one of the things we can do that'll be helpful is to just go back and I know Rob, you said you were interested in exploring that idea as well, but just really, making it visible which different providers were serving different communities so people can find them easier is something we can do. So
We don't have any lamb producers on tonight, do we?
well, I think Chinook said he had lambs and goats, right?
Oh, he did say.
Yeah, and I know
What?
I just missed your name. I apologize.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
Okay,
That's
good.
correct.
And how do you market your stuff now? Or are you just
Well, yeah, I'm just getting started. So I'm getting my price analysis and everything together. And so probably won't be until later on till the year, but I'm gonna probably, maybe get to 20 or maybe 30 head, but I haven't figured it all out yet.
okay?
So I'm just here. Yes.
Where would you remind us where you are? What part of the state?
Fiddletown, Amador County.
Amador County. Okay. Do any of you know PT Ranch?
I do.
Okay, yeah. So one of the thoughts I have is that someone mentioned, maybe Rob, no, maybe it were the Lockwoods who talked about, yeah, joining with other brands that exist. Let's say they're not selling what you have, but they have networks started. The other one is when we did our event in March, we had those online services. Chop Local came, but there are several. Actually, Sam, you have another one you use, something Barn.
Yeah, they're barn to door, and I would highly recommend that nobody use them.
Really? Why? What happened?
Their customer service is terrible. Their web platform is a disaster. Their invoicing is a disaster. Their customer service is a disaster. We're promised 24-hour turnaround times on online payments, and it can range anywhere from 48 hours to 72 with no forecasting and no ability to know when we're going to get paid.
So that you don't want to use them. Have you switched to Chop Local?
Just getting there. The cost of transitioning to Chop Local is the only thing that's slowing us down, but we are starting that process in June. Their team is really on point, and they are much smaller, so you get a much more reactive experience, and they're promising the world, so I will find out if it's better, but I don't think it could be worse. They're very responsive, they're very understanding, they really understand the challenges that we face. So, and they do a little bit of cross promotion stuff, and they don't really have a lot in California, so the early people to sign on with them for California are going to have a big advantage. And so we're really excited to be starting that partnership with them.
Good. I'm really glad to hear that. And I'm really glad to hear, that review of the other entity, because we can, help spread the word on that. We don't want
I used to think they were all right, but I would never, ever tell anyone to use them.
Okay.
Not now.
Good to know. Yeah, that's good to know. Well, the big news is that, we need to get more of the lamb and goat producers and beef producers that are within the distance that is comfortable for them to contact Rob and James, because they have capacity. And with Redwood going, if Redwood is in fact down, and whether that's permanent or not, we'll find out, because they did receive a grant. And I also know that another project we're working on has set them up to receive hides from them. So I don't know, maybe this new buyer is going to upgrade the plant with some of that new money, or, who knows what's going to happen. But we will also dig into that, and in our next call, provide an update as best we can based on the information we're able to gather. So is there anything else anybody wants to talk about? Questions, thoughts? We're excited that Marilyn's here, because we're really hopeful that sometimes toward the end of the year, we have some, some good news about where they've gone, because I know they've been digging into all the detail and the homework. That's the hardest part, figuring out all the detail. And Marilyn's on top of that. And it sounds like you brought in someone to help you. I'm really glad to hear that, because I know it's complex. 10 campuses, 5 med systems, and an array of product SKUs and requirements, regulatory and systems, that is your own policy. So I know it's a lot, and we really appreciate you guys digging in on that. And yeah, and we hope that you all keep that date, November 18th, in your minds, because that's going to be our big event, final event for this project. We have applied for more money to continue the project, so we'll see if that happens, but we can't report on that until we learn something. Yeah, so anything else? Yeah.
I know this is tangential to the topic at hand, but we are in the process of ramping up our grazing business, and we would be interested if anybody has any insights. We're looking for a larger stock trailer in the like 24-foot-ish range, and like a 3500 F350 kind of dually truck to purchase to run that part of our business. In that context, also, if anybody has any commercial insurance carriers that actually return calls, that would be kind of cool to find out, because so far I've been chasing my insurance broker around like a dude chasing a puppy that isn't potty trained. I can't manage to get a call back, and it's driving me insane. So if you have any contacts for any of those things, please shoot them to us, direct message us, email us, whatever. Send us a smoke signal, whatever.
I have a question regarding the insurance. Have you contacted Farm Bureau and asked them?
Have not.
I would call the Farm Bureau, because they not only do they have insurance, but they will know the network.
All right.
That might be helpful. And then the other one is I would contact PT Ranch, which is in Amador. They might have, and if you email Doris, who sends out the invitations for this, or Courtney, we will connect you with PT, because they would probably know too.
All right.
Yeah, and I think they are listed on that contact sheet we have with everyone's information on it. So
yeah. Okay. Yeah, you could do that too. You could just contact them directly. I think, yeah, those are good questions. I'm glad to hear that so when you say your grazing business, what you want to do is take your animals and graze people's property, both for fire and just control of grass.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we had a partnership with another business, and he decided to go on his own. And so we are in the process of developing that business here. We have plenty of experience in the context, but we weren't the ones carrying the commercial liability insurance, and we didn't have all the trailers and truck infrastructure, but we're purchasing that now to carry on that part of the business.
Good.
So
I think it's going to be demand. I'd be reaching out to I don't know if you have, but I know that counties down in Southern California, particularly Ventura, LA, San Luis, are hiring folks with animals. Here in Sonoma County, they have goats and sheep come out to our state parks and county parks.
Yeah, I know a couple operations in the East Bay have been around for a long time too, and I think they just do, like, even the highway system and the public lands keeps them busy. So there's lots of demand for it if you can.
Yeah, even around here, there seems to be, we put up our local sign, and we've already got calls left, right, and center. So good. I think it's gonna be good. We just want to have all our ducks in a row, so to speak, before we jump into it.
Yeah, the insurance piece is going to be critical. Yeah.
We actually had somebody else contacting us recently too, that was, they were doing agritourism and some of the on-farm piece, and they were having a challenge with the insurance part too. So
it's frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, if anybody has good direct contacts for agents, please let us know. But yeah, we will reach out to Farm Bureau as well.
Good. Anything else? Okay, then we'll close for the evening. And Courtney, when's our next event? And do we know who's going to be speaking next time?
Yeah, so the next two events are actually geared towards more the beef crowd, which are the two climate smart commodity projects that are looking to engage with producers and actually pay them to participate in their program. So let me double check the dates on that. I think it's one was the 17th. I don't remember which was which. Let me see. And Michael, you know more about the Wolf's Neck program. Is that one just beef as well, or do they have other animals on their docket?
Just beef, but they're paying good money. They're paying per acre. So for new acres that has not been certified or regenerative previously, they are paying $25 to $30 an acre. For 3 years. So it's a really good program. It's beef only though. And then they're also paying you covering your costs of verification and doing a grazing plan.
Yeah, so I have the dates out. The June 10th is that program, the Wolf's Neck one. And June 17th will be the other project we're participating in, which is growing grass. And that was beef and bison. And they also pay for, they'll pay to help cover certification and things like that. And then the other one that we have confirmed, we have a bunch floating around, is July 1st. We'll have, so the north facility, which was Belcampo, the Nexus, now it's Star Harvest. And they just opened doors today. They took their first load in, and they'll be doing beef and hogs up in the north side. So, but they'll be, and I think they also are pooling and purchasing and hogs as well. So they have a slaughter facility and a growing hog business. So
yeah, they have a big contract. I think it's with Whole Foods or with, might be Whole Foods, or it might be that other really big box retailer. Anyway, they have a contract and they need to fill that contract. So they're going to be buying lots of hogs.
And they were actually saying they would help people transition into growing hogs regeneratively and like kind of grow their producer pool, even if you aren't already producing hogs. So that might be something to think about if you're wanting to diversify a little bit.
Yeah. So anyway, those are the next 3 events. And then if there is real interest to have a kind of separate conversation with people who are interested in halal goats and lambs, we could have a different conversation in a different schedule with folks that want to do that. So just email Doris or Courtney and say, if you're interested, if we get a critical mass, we can do that. So, because we want that group to grow, because we want to, first of all, we want to serve goat at our November event. And so
we'll hook you up.
Huh?
I said we'll hook you up.
Okay, good. So, yeah,
and I'll just say we're just kind of reopening that conversation. When we first started the project a 1.5 years ago, there was a lot of interest there, and we weren't able to charge down that road yet because it was a little early. But so now we know there's people around. We just need to kind of pull them back together, especially on the market side. Is a bunch of the urban areas as well as the Central Valley have a lot of demand. It's just kind of marshaling, connecting with those groups. So
good. All right. Thanks very much, everyone. Have a good couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Great seeing everyone. Bye.